Hi everyone, welcome to another video of SAT Math Explained. Today our topic will be linear equations in two variable, which is a focus skill on the SAT under the Algebra Domain. So this is the third focus skill out of the 19 total from the math. So I would recommend that you guys go watch the first two first because you will need the skills using those two for many of the examples shown in this video. So let's get started. So how do you need to solve these questions? What do you need to know to solve these questions? So basically, similar to the other ones, you need to know how to interpret word problems with two variables. So they're gonna give you like a question with a scenario, and either they're gonna give you a scenario and an equation. You're gonna have to tell them what this number means, or they're gonna give you a scenario. You have to make an equation, or sometimes just have to solve for one of the variables in the equation, and so on. And then number two, you need to know some relationships. So you just need to understand how the relationships work, which is mostly like uh, interpreting or understanding what the slope is or the rate of change, so you can understand the relationship, which goes hand in hand into understanding the word problems. Then, like I said, you will need to know how to solve for a variable, because many times it's going to give you a scenario, give you an equation, give you like a number for one of the variables, and ask you, so what would this be? You need to know slope-intercept form because many of these types of questions are going to ask you to give them an equation from the word problem, or they're going to give you a table or a graph, ask you for an equation. And you just need to understand in general the y equals mx plus b. You need to understand the slope and y-intercept from it and how to find them. Then you need to interpret equations, graphs, and tables to do stuff like solve for a variable, write an equation, analyze the relationship. You need to know, this is something that pops up a lot, which is one of the main types of problems you might get, is perpendicular or parallel. So you just need to know if let's just come down here. If two lines are parallel, the slope will be the same. So the slope will be the same slope. So if like the slope was 5 for an equation, it tells you that another equation is parallel, then it also has to be same slope. But it's the same slope but a different line. And then for perpendicular, it's something called a opposite reciprocal. Opposite reciprocal. So if you have a line and it tells you that another line is perpendicular to it, the slope is a opposite reciprocal, which, let's say the original line slope is a over b. The opposite reciprocal would be, you flip it so it becomes b over a, and you put a negative. So if it was negative, it becomes positive. Here it was positive, so it becomes negative. So let's say the slope was 5 over 2. It becomes negative 2 over 5. And there are going to be examples about this later on. And then just basic translation. Sometimes you're going to get a question which is going to be like, here's an equation. If it's translated like down 3 units, what's the new y-intercept, what's the new x-intercept, something like that. So that's just something you need to like be able to like interpret from an equation, table, or graph. Okay, so similar to the last one where we were doing linear functions, the questions vary a lot, so it's hard to just like give you a straightforward way to solve this. But you just need to understand what the question is asking for first thing. What is it asking for? Does it want us to find the y-intercept? Does it want us to solve for a variable? Does it want us to find the equation? And then you need to know how to apply your knowledge, which includes these stuff, and like the things from previous videos, and possibly things from future videos, but mostly just things from previous videos and the things you'll learn in this video. So that is it for the explanation part. So let's just move on to examples. As usual, we're going to be doing 2 easy questions, 2 medium questions, and a single hard question to wrap it up. And these are all from the SAT question bank, but they do not include the blue book questions. And please make sure to try and do these questions on your own first, and then watch the explanation, because you're not learning if you just watch me explain it, and you'll just get like a false sense of understanding. So examples. This is the first one, an easy one. It says that line K is defined by y is equal to 3x plus 15. Y is equal to 3x plus 15. Line J is perpendicular to line K. What is the slope of line J? So like we said here, if it's perpendicular, you find the opposite reciprocal. Oops. So, okay, so opposite reciprocal. So right here, the slope is 3x. So the slope is 3, the number before the x. And so this is an example. You have to understand y equals mx plus b and know that the m is the slope. So if the slope is 3, so 3, we want to flip it first thing, so 1/3, and then add a negative. That's it. The answer is A. So a question like this, literally all you need to know, there's no trick in it. All you need to know is you just need to know the fact that the relationship between a perpendicular, sorry, you need to know the relationship between two perpendicular lines, and it might have been parallel on a different question. So the second question is, it gives us a graph. I know it's small, so I made it bigger here. So we have this graph, and then which of the following is an equation of the graph shown in the xy plane above? So there are many ways to solve this question. So you could technically find a couple points. Find this point, use this point, then just see which one is, like, you can plug it in and you get the same thing on both sides. You could do that. But an easier way to do it was just to recognize the form, slope intercept form. So slope intercept form is y equals mx, mx plus b. So b is the y-intercept. So we can see, so -1, -4, -1, 4, -1. We look at the graph, the y-intercept is when x is 0. So when x is 0, you come here, you go down, down, it is -1. The y-intercept is right here at -1. So right here, you automatically know that the answer will be either A or C, because the rest of them don't have that y-intercept. Then you need to find the slope. So from here, to find the slope is y over x. Slope is y over x. So there's two ways to solve this. You could either find 2 points, do the slope formula, y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1, or you could just right here find the slope. So right here, the y, it goes down 1, so it's -1 for the y, divided by, it goes to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, so -1 over 4. And then there's only one option with that, that's option A. But let's say you didn't want to do that, you want to like make sure with the some formula or something. So you could choose 2 points. I'm going to use this one, and so I'm going to use the y-intercept, the x-intercept, because those have zeros and that makes it easier. So we have the point 0, comma, -1, and the point -4, comma, is that -4? Yeah, -4, comma, 0. -4, comma, 0. Then you choose which coordinate is coordinate 2, which one's coordinate 1. I always like to just do the right one is coordinate 2. So you get 0 minus -1 divided by -4 minus 0. Two negatives makes it a positive, so you get 1 over -4. -4 minus 0 is -4, which also gives you -1/4. As always, if you have any questions, just put it in the comments. And so yeah, for this one, the answer would be A. Let's move on to the medium questions. So this one tells us it's a open answer question, but it's still the same thing. Just solve it and put the answer. On a 210-mile trip, so the total miles driven it was 210. Caravan drove an average speed of 60 miles for the first X hours, and then he then completed the trip, driving an average speed of 50 miles per hour for the remaining Y hours. If X is equal to 1, what is the value of Y? So this is 2 of the skills I talked about of what to know. First thing, you need to know how to interpret the word problem. Then you need to know from the word problem, interpret it, you have to write equations, and then you have to solve, they give you a number, and then you have to solve for a variable. So if you start here, so you just have to somehow get an equation from this. So here we know that he drove 60 miles per hour for the first X hours. He then completed the trip driving an average speed of 50 miles per hour for the remaining Y hours. So if X equals 1, what is the value of Y? So we know that basically miles per hour. So 60x plus 50y is equal to 210. Why is that? Because basically, if this doesn't make sense, if how we found this, basically 60 is miles per hour. So 60 is miles per hour. and then x is the first x hours, so it's in hours. So this cancels out. We get 60 miles plus the same thing would happen for the 50 plus 50 miles is equal to 210. So 60 miles times the number of hours, 60 miles driven at the number of first x hours plus 50 miles driven at the rest of the trip is equal to 210. I hope that makes sense. So then from this, we are told x equals 1 to help us solve for y. So if x equals 1, you just plug it in. 60 times 1 is just itself. Anything multiplied by 1 is itself. Plus 50y equals 210. So now you will use the skills from our first video, which was a 1 variable, because now we only have 1 variable. If you guys need, you can go back and rewatch that or watch it for the first time. So now just subtract 60 from both sides, minus 60, minus 60. You get 150 equals 50y. 50y. Then we divide both sides by 50. Divide both sides by 50. You get y is equal to 3. So what did the question ask for? What is the value of y? So there's no trick in here. The answer is just 3. That is it. So then let's move on to the second medium question. Let me just erase this. Okay. So the second one gives us a table, and it says an artist paints and sells square tiles. The selling price P in dollars of a painted tile is a linear function. So that is important to know. It's a linear function. So that means it's a straight line. So it's a linear function of the side length of the tile S in inches as shown in the table below. So we have the side length and prices is the relationship. Which of the following could define the relationship between S and P? So all of these are in the form y equals mx plus b. So the most straightforward way to solve for this would be to there's actually 2 ways to solve this. I'm going to show you how to solve it with Desmos with the skill called linear regression. But the first way to do it by hand is y equals mx plus b. So just solve for the slope, solve for the y-intercept. So right here, let's just pick, you can see that it moves increments by 3, and each time it increases by 10. So if you go 3 back here, so if you add a table, let's say we go here, we just add another point. We have 3, and then, so let's say we just go back 3. So here is minus 3, minus 3, minus 3. If we go back 3 one more time, we get 0, and that's the y-intercept. That's what we want when the independent variable is 0. So if we go back to 0, each time this is minus 10, minus 10. So if we take this to 0, we have to take this one to negative 8 minus 10. 8 minus 10 is negative 2. So right here, automatically, just only one of them has negative 2, you're done. If you wanted to, you could find the slope. Just for doing it, let's do it. So we have, take 2 points. Let's use these 2 points. So we get 28 minus 18 over 9 minus 6. You get 10 over 3. And then you are done. The answer is C. Okay. So the other way I wanted to show is to find the line. You could simply just use something called regression on the calculator, and it works for linear, quadratic, and any type of function. So you just come here, you put table, and then you should put as many points as you can make. But because it's linear, you only need 2 points, because any 2 points you just have a line. It won't matter if you just put another point in the middle. So you can just put 3 and 8. And then 6 and 18. Then right here, on the top left, something should pop up right here. It's like a line with 2 dots, and it should say add regression. And then you just click on that, and then it gives you the line. It literally just gives you a line. So right here, it tells you that 3.33333x minus 2, y is equal to 3.333x, and 10 over 3 is 3.333. So that would give you this answer that we got, C. So instead of doing all that work, you could have just find the y-intercept like we did, or you could just do linear regressions. They both take about the same time, but this one's a lot easier. Just plug in points, click regression, it should give it to you. So yeah, so that is another way. And so let's move on to, okay. So now we are going to solve the hard question. So this question tells us the table gives the coordinate of 2 points on a line in the xy plane. So right here we just have to make sure there's the small words that really do make a difference. So this question would literally be unsolvable unless you identify that it says on a line, and that, sorry, I'm just gonna highlight it. It says on a line. So when it tells us that it's on a line, that automatically tells you that it's linear, and that allows you to solve it. If you don't know that it's linear or that it's on a line, you can't solve it. So now, oh, that is ugly. Linear. So that lets you know that it's linear. So the y-intercept of the line is k minus 5, comma b, where k and b are constants. What is the value of b? So this might look confusing at first, because there's like two random variables in a coordinate with x and y. But honestly, x and y are irrelevant here. So there's really only two variables, which is why it's under this focus skill. There's k and b. So we have the point k 13, k plus 7, negative 15. So we're told that the y-intercept of the line is k minus 5, comma b. So the y-intercept of the line happens at, you have to realize, x equals 0. So that would mean that k minus 5 is equivalent to 0. Just gonna make it look better, I hope. K minus 5 is equal to 0. And then solving for k, you know that you will know that if you, it's not letting me move. Okay. So solving for k, you know that k is equivalent to 0, to 5, sorry. So add 5 to both sides, you know that k is equal to 5. So then from there, there's two ways to solve this, like the last time. You could do linear regression on this question, but first I'm just going to show you guys the normal way to solve this. So you get k equals 5, okay. So now you can fill in the table. So the table was, you have x, y. So the first one is k. So you just got k equals to 5. So 5. And then k plus 7. So 12. And then the values are given. 13, negative 15. So then we want the y-intercept, so we want the 0. So the easiest way to solve this is just to find the slope. So finding the slope, negative 15 minus 13, negative 15 minus 13. You just plug in this into the decimals if you want. 12 minus 5, you will get negative 28 divided by 7, you will get negative 4. Negative 4 is the slope. So for each time you go back 1, or for each time you go forward 1, it's negative 4. So right here, negative, like if you go from k to k minus 1, you go minus 4. So we want to go to k minus 5. So that's negative 5 times negative 4. Negative 5, because you want to go back 5 times, but backwards. So negative 5 times negative 4. I'm just going to do this down here. Okay, so you get, where's my cursor? Okay, so you get negative 5 times 4 to know, negative 5 times negative 4 tells you how much you have to change if you want to start at k and then go to k minus 5. K minus, that is ugly. K minus 5. K minus 5. So the change from k to k minus 5 is 20. But it doesn't mean that k minus 5 is going to be 20. It means that the change is 20. So you start at 13, and then 13 plus the 20. 13 plus 20, and then you get 33. So on k minus 5, the value of y will be 33. Yeah, so that was confusing. So now I'm going to show you guys how to solve it using the regression. Okay, so similar to last time, you need to open Desmos. Let's just delete this. Okay, so this time, sorry. I can't see my, okay, I can see it now. Okay, so this time, we still need points. We can't put in k, because that's still a variable, and the regression's not going to work on it. But like we said, you still have to start with the part where you solve for k. You know that k equals 5, and now you got 2 points. So you got 5, comma, 13, and then k plus 7, so 5 plus 12, comma, negative 15. And then you can do regression, and this will give you the equation. However, like we said, this gives you the equation, not the answer. So then you have the equation, and then you're told that it's the y-intercept. So you could automatically just say, okay, it's 33. Or if you want, you could plug in. So the y-intercept is when k is 0. So just plug in, this is the number. Plug in 0 for x. 0 for x. It's equals to 33. So a question like this, knowing how to do regression will save you a lot of time, which can help a lot, especially on the SAT, where you need to save as much time as you can for other questions. That is it for this video. Thank you for watching. And just so you guys know, I have been uploading daily, so if you guys want, it would be great if you guys could subscribe, like, and click the bell so that you guys know when I upload. And yeah, thank you for watching.